Hello there, a very good evening to you out there. My name is Yusuf Nadabu Usman and the program is Reflections. We're reaching you from the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. And every week on this program, we invite personalities into our studio in order to talk about themselves and how what they went through, touched your lives out there, and how what they would tell us and tell you maybe impact on you, and then see how you can make your life better. Tonight, it's my pleasure to really welcome into the studios of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, a person who has gone through so many things in life, talking about his life history, talking about somebody who has served this country for over 4 decades, and of course retired to really work with the people and see how you can make life better in business. I'm referring to no any other person but a 79-year-old Major General, or that a general I would say, who really took on so many positions within and outside this country to keep this country one, to make this country united, and of course, to make this country a better place to stay. My guest is Major General Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman. General Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman was born on the 21st day of July 1941 in Abaji, presently in the Federal Capital Territory. His triumphant entry into history started in 1947 when he enrolled into the Native Authority Primary School, after which he proceeded to Wakeni Provisional Secondary School. On completing secondary school, Bagudu Mamman joined the military. He was at the Nigerian Military Training College, Kaduna in 1963, the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst in the United Kingdom between 1964 and 1965, the Royal School of Artillery, Lock Hill, still in the United Kingdom in 1968, and the Odessa Military College in the then USSR between 1970 and 1971. Back home, General Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman was at Army Command and Staff College, Georgia in 1976, and the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru Jos in Plateau State in 1982. During these periods, General Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman took so many leadership positions, which include troop leader, battery commander, commanding officer, brigade commander, and commandant, Nigerian Military School of Artillery in the late 70s. In 1980, Bagudu Mamman served on the Commonwealth Observer Team to the Zimbabwean independence election. He became the Chief Military Personnel Officer, United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, the UNIFIL. After returning home, he became the commander, 32 Field Artillery Brigade, then the Director, Army Training and Operations in 1984. Between 1985 and 1987, Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman commanded the Corps Artillery of the Nigerian Army, and as well as being a member of the Armed Forces Ruling Council of the then Ibrahim Babangida administration. He remained a member of the AFRC even as a commandant of the Command and Staff College, Georgia, up to 1990, when he retired from the Nigerian Army. On retirement, Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman served as Minister of then Internal Affairs, now Minister of Interior, and later Minister of Industry during the Babangida administration. On full retirement from public service, General Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman founded and chairs Hikmas International Limited in Nigeria and the United States. He is as well the chairman of a dozen other companies. At the political front, he was a member of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party in 1999, Chairman, Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board of the Federal Capital Territory, and Commissioner in the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. General Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman is the Treasurer of Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. He lives in Abuja, Nigeria. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Nigeria.
Thank you. It's a 40, 45, 50 minutes program. We really want to get the best out of you in terms of your experience and how what your experiences are, how they are able to really impact on other people's life, and how they will really impact on those who are going to watch us. The going through your biography and the search I made about you on so many platforms on the internet and the rest of them, it seems to me that you've been a person who had spent most of your life serving this country in uniform. And that's talking about the Nigerian military. And you went through a lot of trainings, and of course, I would say your life is more or less military.
Absolutely.
Completely. 40, 43 years of that out of 79 at least, a chunk of it has gone. How do you feel after retiring in 1990?
Anytime any president comes on board in this country today, we lose hundreds of generals. Because more often than not, they will pick somebody far, far junior. And what that means is, those generals that are likely to lose their places will have a choice to make. It's either remain and suffer the indignation, quote and unquote, or accept it as the will of the Almighty Creator and swallow it as bitter as it may be. But as a nation, we'll be missing generals at the time we should be reaping the value of our investment. To train somebody from officer cadet to the rank of a general, millions, billions of naira would have been expended. It's not to my knowledge in this country that we have a place, a role for retired generals to perform after they leave the military. Unlike civilized nations, countries, when you retire as a general, they know your value. They don't just throw you into the labor market. They create a pool, put you there. You may not be wearing your uniform. You will be told in no uncertain terms, you are retired but not completely free. A time will come when that substance you have up there will become useful. We want to call on you. Let's take the crisis of insecurity we have in the country today.
That is what I wanted to really push in, and then see how you as retired generals and retired military men come into this. Because as you said, it's going to be rather a waste of resources and whatever to have just let you go and go like that.
In civilized countries, you have a pool for retired military officers. If a situation arises that needs their expertise, their experience, hey, gentlemen, we have a crisis in our hand. We have a peculiar situation in our hand. Lock yourselves up. Find a solution for us. Nobody does it in this country. I'm yet to see anybody that will prove me wrong. Nobody does. Once you're gone, you're gone.
And that applies to most professions in this country, not only the military. Because I remember professors retire, teachers retire, bureaucrats retire.
I know my constituency, that's why I'm very particular about the military. The military. In fact, some people tell you you are retired but not tired. You're still. In certain countries, civilized countries, even long after you've retired, if your expertise is required for you to wear a uniform again, I'll just dust the uniform. But I may not be on the field, but will be in the operations room. There's no provision for that in this country.
Okay, since that provision was not made, and of course you are in Nigeria, still in Nigeria, you can never be anything but that.
Absolutely.
And of course the insecurity and whatever all over this country are there. What's your comment about the present administration's effort in trying to curb this? When we look back to 2015 through 2019, now we're in 2020 at least.
Let me answer that question directly. And let me give you a small history. A time was Nigeria never thought about what do I call it? Radicalism, terrorism. We woke up one night. Terrorism was written on the skies of Nigeria. What that meant, and still means, we were not prepared. for terrorism took place fighting it. Fighting it, you must have the necessarily trained people, personnel, to deal with terrorism. You must have the requisite weaponry to fight the terrorism. Not only rifles, other equipments connected with intelligence gathering, interpretation of such intelligence gathering, and the rest of them. Fighting terrorism is different from conventional warfare. Sometimes to catch a terrorist, you behave like one yourself. Were we training for that? No. Fine. At the background of our unpreparedness to fight what we hardly believed would have been on our skies, on the face of this country, we must give kudos to the presidents that inherited, or yes, part of this problem when they were in office. Because with the limited resources that they had, they were able to fight it. I want to talk in particular about the present regime. Perhaps because of his military background, Obasanjo was too military man, but terrorism never appeared direct during his time, like the period of Jonathan and the Buhari regime that we're in now. With the little available, with the standard of training that the army or the military had, they were able to put up an effort. What were our predicaments? What are our shortcomings? We do not manufacture this equipment. We buy them. And the country you are buying from reserves the right not to sell this equipment to you. That's part of the politics, global politics. They will read other meanings into it. Are you really going to fight terrorism, or you are going to strengthen your political position? So with that at the back of our mind, I think it will be wrong to condemn these two presidents as at the time they inherited this issue of terrorism till now. I'm not saying they don't have a role to play. They have a role to play. The leader is like an incinerator. He doesn't choose what rubbish you put in it. He gives himself to accept the rubbish that you have poured in. Because part of your responsibility as the president is to ensure secured environment for the well-being of the people you are ruling. There is a limit to how much you can try. Like I said a while ago, they want to buy arms, they want to buy ammunition. The advanced countries that manufacture them reserve the right to sell to you or not to. What are you going to do? Fight them with bow and arrow? No. Even the ordinary rifle that you carry is not sufficient to fight the terrorist organization you are dealing with. So we must be careful in the way we condemn or we criticize our leaders. But if you look at it from the moral point of view, we have a responsibility that lies squarely on the shoulder of the man ruling us. By the same token, he has a responsibility that we owe him. We must understand the circumstances of his leadership, what he inherited. I don't know if I discussed this with somebody. When you elect a leader or you appoint a leader, to my mind, he has 4 years to be useful to the nation. 4 years. The first year he's learning the new environment he finds himself in. Having identified the positives and the negatives, he will now put an agenda in place to combat the negative sides of what is inherited. Year 1 gone. Planning, strategizing, and then putting it to effect. What are the tools he requires to combat the situation, the nasty situation he finds himself in? The second year, he's trying to implement the strategies he has put in place, including acquiring the necessary equipment required to combat those negative situations he has found himself in. Third year, yes, how is the implementation going? Fourth year, you are trying to see what legacies you are going to leave behind. Anything after that, between you and I, Yusuf, you have nothing more to add. That's my view.
But in a democracy like Nigeria, it's 4-year term first, second 4-year term, and that's the end of it. And Nigerian politicians most especially want to use the first year, as you said, for planning, and then 2-3 years. And the last year, the final year, in the first 4 years, is meant for re-strategizing to come back.
In fact, midway before their first tenure and the next one, they abandoned, with due respect, they've abandoned that. They are now planning, how do I get back? So you have not quite gotten 4 years of proper achievement. That's the way I feel. You have, because midway between for the first 4 years, you have abandoned your program. You are now strategizing how to get a re-election.
That may mean that maybe 4 years is not enough for single term, for instance.
If I had a choice, yes, I think that would be a better thing for me than the 4-year thing, where you have not finished your first 4 years, you are thinking of the next. You are not fair to Nigerians.
Now, in case you are just joining us, the program is Reflections. I'm discussing and talking to retired General Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman. We shall take a break now. We'll come back with more on this program. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's now continue on the platform of politics and then see how far we can get out of it. You've been retired, and a lot of you guys who have retired as generals and whatever have joined politics and have been making it there, senators, House of Representatives, and the rest of them. And I don't know, don't you have any political agenda?
I thought of joining politics. If you remember, my opening statement was, okay, you have an entry point. One door shuts, another door opens. I was living a disciplined outfit into what I was not too sure. I have no slight, I do not intend to slight any Nigerian, but I'm reading my own mind. That's what I found out, because I served 30 good years of my life in the military. Like it was, as it were, it became my second home. And transferring to somewhere else with a different discipline outfit, background, it may not be quite the same. So it took me quite a while. I had a spell in the political life of this country. But then I knew I was going to fight a losing battle. I'd always been in an outfit that believes yes is yes and no is no. In politics, no can be yes, depending on what you are discussing, who you are discussing it with. But then I said to myself, when I eventually took the plunge, going into politics, if we all stay away from politics, the wrongs that we profess are happening in political life. Who will bring about changes to effect the change? On that, I took the plunge. I said, let me join politics. I did. I thought it's a military life where orders are orders. In politics, it can be so too. Rules are set for running political outfits. Do we really follow those rules?
What did you meet when you entered?
What did I meet? I'll give you a typical example. I was sent to Anambra State to carry out, what do you call it? To screen governorship candidates.
Which part was that? PDP? Right. And which year was that?
1999. I went to Oka. My committee was still in Oka. The result of my primaries was announced in Abuja. How do I swallow that? There was no noise I didn't make. I didn't win.
Why a board member?
I was a Benma. I was the chairman of the screening committee that went to Oka.
Board member, board of trustees.
Board of trustees. Yeah. But no, all those were kept aside. What my committee thought could go to hell, quote and unquote, they had accepted the person they want to be, the governor of Oka. Then I went back, I said, then why do the preliminaries at all? Why do primaries? And I discovered that it was going to be so, no matter what anybody, most especially me, what I think. I knew I was not going to be long in politics because the two disciplines that were presented to me were in a world of their own. In a world of their own.
So virtually as a party man, that was the experience. Talk less of even trying to think of vying for a position.
I didn't attempt.
Was it because of that?
Partly, yes. Right. Secondly, Nigerian politics has been over-monetized. You ask people to come and vote for you, to come and carry out their civic responsibility. They're expecting you to come and pay for them, to even go to the voting area. To my mind, it won't work that way. There has to be a change. So, if I cannot get people to change, let me change. I opted out of politics.
But you said initially that politics should not be left alone to only those who think otherwise.
They're in the majority, Yusuf.
Right.
They're in the majority. I am allowed a single voice in the wilderness. There are many like me, yes, but we are in the minority. We are. No matter how hard you try. A time shall come, I don't know when that time will be, maybe not in my time and your time. The young ones who are walking on the street perhaps may be lucky enough to introduce this civilized way of playing politics. I have seen in civilized countries, most of my training I did in Britain, people come from one family and belong to different political parties. They still must move on. Politics outside. We're talking about Nigeria globally, not the house of General Mamman, Kalda. You can have your political views different from your siblings, but go out, when you come back to that house, leave those politics behind, alone. Because each political party, they have one agenda to make the country better for us to live in. What is different is the method of attaining that goal. But a politics of do or die. I must sell my house to come and contest for governorship election, or sell part of my properties to come and become a senator, to come and be a senator. Tell me, honest with yourself, if you did all that and you went into the Senate, what will be your first preoccupation?
Oh, well, that, you know,
What I have spent.
for sure, that's great.
Let me say it.
But I would not want to believe that that was why you decided to lead a very quiet life out of that.
In the way politics is played, it was not to be.
Being a lone boy.
Yes. Rather to remain there and become frustrated. Let me give that time to members of my family. Let them gain something positive out of me. What I tell them in my house is, the man who will win and Nigeria benefits, put your vote for him. We should have a situation also that when a man is not performing, have a recall system. Those who put him there, man, come back, or madam, come back. You are not doing what we sent you out there to do. Have we started in Nigeria?
Well, we have that in our rules, I guess.
We do, but are they obeyed? No.
But I don't think that very issue should, or the blame should lie squarely on the politicians. It also happens, it is so feel as if the electorate...
That's why I say it's been monetized and they are used to it. You find it difficult to bring them back from that setting.
All right, now, General, most of your colleagues, most of your mates, I would say, most of your peers, after leaving the army, after leaving the bureaucracy, after leaving the service, head towards the farm. Generally, for those who don't want to join politics, don't want to be in any kind of other thing else, just prefer to be on the farm, feel green, be green, and then feel like nature is close by. Was General like that? Did he feel like that?
I come from Abaji. Land is no problem. I can buy animals, send them to the farm. But I discovered to my utmost surprise, you cannot be an absentee farmer. You either have to be there physically, personally yourself, or have a trusted, quote and unquote, individual to look after that farm for you. Where is that trusted person? Babu.
You didn't get one?
No.
But you started?
I started.
And you felt the person you gave it to was trusted?
I thought he was trusted.
What really happened?
It's a long story. We can't finish it.
Can't you summarize it?
I lost all my animals that I had in that farm. I didn't take a grain of anything to the market. It would appear I was feeding somebody. I'll tell you a story about the man keeping my animals. He decided all of a sudden he was going to relocate. He didn't tell me directly. He said they were going on leave and collected all his family. From then I got a message that said he had left, never to return to Abaji again. Naturally, I wanted to find out why that. And then I discovered to my dismay, the animals I thought belonged to me were not my animals. My animals had been sold. What I saw on the field were animals of those who brought replacements for my farm keeper to look after for them. So when he left, everybody was coming to say, animal XYZ belonged to me. This was what happened. The upset. Don't tell me any stories. I didn't want to die before my time. Heartache, blood pressure, and the rest of them. I said, go. You and your creator So what did I do? Before I dabbled into politics, when it became very clear that I had left the military, even though unpreparedly, I now said to myself, thank God, I had already gotten a place where I'll put my head and my family at home. Because the greatest embarrassment to anybody would have been to retire from where you work, and then you have no place, no roof over your head. You are not receiving fat, quote and unquote, salary to say, oh, I'll be able to look after members of my family adequately. You have not. So I now said, okay, what do I do? Here I am, a one-time active life person, retired, with no office to go to, no farm to go to yet. I now decided, okay, form a small outfit, give it a name. At least you have an office to go to from morning until a certain time in the afternoon. That separates you from fighting an internal war in the house between you and members of the family. At least I wake up in the morning, I have an office to go to. I'll go there with the rest of my plan. Choose what it is that I wanted to do. That was why I came by the outfit of Hikmas International, Nigeria Limited.
In Nigeria, in the United States.
It took us time to settle, but at least we were picking jobs here and there, doing. That is where knowing people who really know you and love you and like you for what you are, that's where they come in.
That the investment you had or you did in people as you are serving them. Right.
Some people see me today as, oh, you one time put a smile on my face, but you won't remember. I said, no, I won't. I'm sorry. Because I did it for the sake of the Almighty Creator, not you as a person. So, time perhaps to say, one good turn deserves another. Yeah, I'm not saying give me FOC. I believe in the saying that if I want to eat fish, teach me how to catch fish. Rather than any time I want to eat fish, I come to you, give me fish. You give me fish. You will be there today, you may not be there tomorrow.
You even get tired of you one day.
Absolutely.
Is there really a bachalut?
If I must touch it on the surface, a bachalut. Is there really a bachalut? Was he alone in government? Or should we rather not say the loot during Abacha's government? I'm about to say Abacha loot. To my mind, I think it's a disrespect to the president of this great country. We all are fallible. You cannot say to yourself, I, Yusuf Nadabo, I cannot fault, I cannot commit an offense, I cannot make mistake. Allah, only the Almighty Creator. He doesn't make mistake. He creates mistake. He's created it for people who cannot keep to three things in their body. Allah says, your hearing, your seeing, your heart will question you about them. If you use your ears to hear what you are not supposed to hear, you have faulted before the Almighty Creator. You use your eye to see haram, Satan, ngozi, you have committed sin. And what your mind said preaches to you to interpret what you have seen, what you have heard, to commit. If it is something contrary to the laws of existence, you have committed an offense. So, like the Holy Prophet ﷺ says, be wary of the tongue. It can either put you in hellfire or put you in heaven. Now, if you go by that hadith, go by what the Quran says about your hearing, your seeing, and the heart. Decide to be on the path of sanity. Obey the laws of the Supreme Creator. Have Iman. What is meant for you, as meant for me, Abdullahi Mamman, will come to pass. Come rain or shine. So, Abacha loot, I will want to create a different name for that loot.
Okay.
But most certainly, I was not part of the loot.
Sure.
I was never part of the government. Since military interregnum surfaced in Nigeria, I did not occupy a political position. And I'm proud of that.
That's great.
Allah knows why He has done that to me. And I'm grateful to Him. Maybe if He had a gun, and I have seen the kind of money I'm seeing on the paper, I might be tempted to see a physical touch of that money. But alhamdulillah.
And that further explains to me, given your own, disappearance among people, even if it's a multitude, you hardly can identify Major General Abdullahi Bagudu because of his simplicity in life.
My mother died about 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
The old man died when I was just 10.
Okay.
Look at the gap. But my late father never owned a donkey. We still survived. We remained where Allah kept us. When he died, I had my Quranic teacher who took over temporary responsibility for me. That also hit the rocks. In the final analysis, I had only my mother to cry to. Not that she was now feeding me, because by the time I transferred the responsibility completely to her, I was already working. And I pledged to her that I was going to, within human tolerance, within the limited resources available to us, I was going to look after her. Make sure she never cry of want. So I would have told you a history of what is on my palm, but briefly.
Okay, go ahead.
My mother was preparing soup. And then, the usual way, I wanted to test the salt and pepper. Stretched my hand. My mother, may she continue to rest in peace, dumped the ladle in that hot pot. I shouted on top of my voice. My father heard it from his zawri outside, rushed back into the house. What did you do to Bagudu? She asked him. That was my mother's answer to him. It passed. I was shut in the story. I didn't know the meaning of this until years later. My mother said, if I didn't do that to you, you would have had your eyes on what does not belong to you. It's either you steal it or you borrow it. But come with me. If you like, come and leave 1 million naira here outside. The least I can do is to say, hey, who carelessly left his money here? Can you put it? Maybe he thought this place is safe enough. But to say, pinch out of it. And alhamdulillah, for the moral training that I have under the various people that took me in Quranic lessons, Islamic lessons, and the rest of them, part of their program touched on the content with what Allah has destined for you. You have no cause to regret.
Now, in case you're just joining us, the program is Reflections. I'm discussing or talking to retired General Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman. We shall take a break now. We'll come back with more.
Abubakar Sadiq.
Abubakar Sadiq, what kind of father has he been to you?
He is actually the original definition of a father. A down-to-earth person. A dream to every son and daughter that lives on earth. He is.
Why are you saying so?
Yeah, because he has the best discipline in life. He has a word he always says to us. Kar mu je gidan wani, mu ga abu, mu kawo cikin gida, mu ce sai yayi. And he's always straightforward.
What does that mean? What do you say?
Meaning being straightforward to us is,
I mean,
kar mu je gidan
what do you
wani.
mean in English? What do you mean?
Yeah, we shouldn't go to somebody's house to see something and then come to him and ask him to do it for us. We should live the simple life we could ever live. Is always his advice to us.
Have you ever asked him why?
No, I have not, but I know even in Hausa language, abunda babba ya hanga yaro ko ya hau bi ne bai ganin shi.
Meaning?
Whatever an old man sees, a child, when he gets on the mountain, he would never see it.
Would you want to take that along down to your children?
To my great-grandchildren, inshallah.
Right. Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My name is Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman.
The son of Bagudu Mamman.
Yes, sir. That's true.
What's your ranking in this family?
Well,
which number are you, per se?
I'm number 6.
Number 6 out
yes, out of 12.
Out of 12.
Yes.
So you are just in between there.
Which is in between.
It could be the
yes,
link there for between the
more of like neutral, yeah?
Yeah, which it is.
Yes, sir.
Well, Abi Mamman is a father.
Yes.
It's a mentor.
He is. You can see that once again.
He's a general.
Mashallah.
He's a military man to the call.
You can see
He's
that
everything
again.
you can think of.
Everything you can think of.
Do you believe what I say?
Yes, absolutely.
Explain it to
And
us.
you see, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the Almighty Allah for giving me that privilege of being his son and him being my father, because he's my role model, he's my mentor. I aspire to be like him one day. And not because of anything, but because of the good qualities he possesses. He's a straightforward person, honesty, and someone that goes by the book. When I mean he goes by the book, he doesn't believe in anything like loophole or a shortcut. Nothing of that sort. And there's always one thing I'll always remember about him that keeps me going. He says, always tell the truth wherever you go, no matter what it is. And he always tells us that, always tell me the truth, whatever you do, whether be it good, be it bad, tell me the truth so that I can defend you. Don't lie to me. I'm saying this in his absence, but he says it to us almost all the time. And he always tells us that, do good anywhere you go. Wallahi, 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 if you do good, you will never regret it in this life.
And we've been taking that.
Sorry?
You've been taking that.
I have.
Right.
I have.
Right. Just like I asked your brother.
Yeah.
You're really on it, and you would want to take it down, 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 down.
Down to my, if possible, great-grandchildren.
What's your wish to Abi Mamman?
Well, I wish him good health, long life, all the good things life can offer.
Wish you all the best too.
Thank you.
Let's now run it up by looking at this very country, which is Nigeria, and looking at the general who is heading it, just a general like you, too, retired as such, and what he has put in place in order to achieve for this country since time immemorial when he thought of becoming the leader. And he has already served this country in so many capacities, and he's now at the echelon of it, at the peak of it, and that's the final lap, I must say. Corruption. He has been a very staunch abhorrer of corruption. He has headed it with nerves. He has worked against it. He has tried to fight it, and he's still fighting it. You too is not corrupt, I must say, because given what you've told us and what you've heard from you, seem not to even like it for a kobo. What do you feel about this present fight?
Let me answer that question by just one statement. There is only one Buhari. The rest around him are not Buhari. I'm sorry. We are fighting corruption on the lips. Nigeria is one of those countries. It's my country. I have no other country but Nigeria. We can sing the praise of, oh, let's stop corruption. Let's stop corruption. Tell me one guilty person that has been punished for corruption in Nigeria.
Some governors are behind bars.
Okay. At the end of the day, they'll freely leave those bars that they are behind. What I'm saying is, we don't have the capacity to punish the guilt.
Okay. And without punishment?
You are saying, just go. It's just a matter of 1 or 2 days. We'll come and bring you out. You send somebody to the police station. He's the son of General A.B. Mamman. They want me to go and tell the DPO, don't touch him because he's my son. My parents taught me, if you saw your child coming out from outside, crying, beat him more. You must have committed an offense. And somebody who loves you, beat him to correct him. There are laws protecting situations in this country. 2 questions. How corrective are those laws? And how have we implemented them, if we have at all implemented them?
Now, we must really thank you for having taken your time so much. And then I would hardly want to end this discussion without giving you some 60 seconds or that 5 seconds or so to just preach to our youth about what you told us. Just maybe 30, 40 seconds. What do we do? What do they do?
A general once told me, when I served with him at the UN, called me. I was a colonel then, 1982. Colonels, don't rush to where you're not destined to be. If you do, you may never get there.
Speed kills. Speed kills.
Not only that, you haven't got the legs to run, and you want to run when you have not started crawling. You won't get there. Allah says in the Quran, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي وَلَا تَكْفُرُوا. Remember me, and I will remember you. Be grateful to me for what I've done to you, and I'll do you more. Don't turn your back on me. That's my message to the youth. Education is a must. In fact, Islamic religion teaches it. 3 things incumbent on us parents. First, and find good name to them when they are born for you. Educate them. when they reach the level of marriage, marry them out. For the young men, you've already trained them. They should be able to look for their loved ones. What you do, it will then be ihsan. So, young men, before you were created, I believe in predestination. It's already there. It shall come when it will.
It's our pleasure, General Bagudu Mamman. Thank you very much. It's our pleasure too that you've been out there watching and then coming along with us. I had a lengthy little discussion with General Bagudu, Abdullahi Bagudu Mamman, that is retired. We've talked about so much about his life and of course this country. We hope you've gotten a little bit out of it that will just make you change a little bit, shape your life a little bit, and then look forward with some optimism that this country belongs to you and belongs to all of us, and it can be better any moment. I am Yusuf Nadabu Usman. Stay safe. Coronavirus is real, and of course take responsibility. It's your life. Bye-bye.